This is why I hate Mr. Beast.
But I guarantee there's people who watch your channel and go, he's using the Bible for clout.
Mr. B sitting there and like, God, I hate Nick Sanchez. I'm such a fan.
That's where you got me. That's where you got me fucked up.
It's living life with that open hand and saying, like, God, I'm living life for you. This is your money. I don't want to force religion on you. I don't want to like be that kind of guy or whatever. Do you believe in God? Because I feel like he's telling me to give you some money right now. Does God truly have the final say so, like in a fallen world where we have free will? Some of the most judgmental people are the Christians.
No, they are the most judgmental people. And I'm just like,
That's catchy.
You can't say Hebrews nowadays. It's they, them, Brews.
So how many animals can you put in the caboose?
Taylor about to freaking flex.
all right, guys, we are back in the Wolf Den today with Mr. Brayden Hebert, full-time YouTuber and content creator, right?
Yep, you got
What's
it.
happening?
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Pleasure to have you in here. So today we got to talk a little bit about, business mindset, success, your YouTube page, which I don't know, you want to kind of tell the viewers what it's based off of?
Yeah, so essentially what I do is I go out in the middle of the fields, around town and stuff like that, in the middle of nature, and I just open my Bible, and I kind of just share what God's doing in my life. I kind of share whenever I'm researching certain topics on, like, what does the Bible say about business? What does the Bible say about success? What does it say about making money? There's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to the Bible and stuff like that. So I started reading those things for myself and then started sharing them on YouTube this past year. And now it's kind of been taken off a good bit.
So, like, are you using the Bible, like, prominently just for that? Or, like, did it just kind of, like, fall into your lap, like, just because you was already reading the Bible for, like, faith-based reasons, and then you realize, like, oh, man, the Bible actually can work out in a lot of ways by just me being successful and being able to earn money for my family.
Yeah, so honestly, the whole reason why I got back to, my faith, so I grew up in a Christian home. I went to a Christian school. But to be honest, I think I just called myself a Christian, but I didn't really, like, fully live it out. I wasn't completely sold out. I didn't truly, like, give my life to Christ until this past year. So it's like I was kind of interested in business and stuff like that. I've always been self-employed since graduating high school. And so really what led me to kind of reading these verses and, like, sharing what it even says about money on YouTube was, it was in January, actually. I had this dream. God had been putting it on my heart that he wanted me to, like, kind of start being bold in my faith and, like, sharing the gospel on these videos, but also sharing what the Bible says about money and everything. And so I've been putting that off for a while. Had a dream in January this past year. I saw myself sitting in a camping chair in the middle of the field with my Bible in my hand, just, like, sharing what God's doing in my life, sharing what it says about all these different topics. And ever since then, I've been making videos just about every single week, going out into different fields, talking about the Bible, talking about what God says about money and how we should go about handling money as Christians.
So I guess, you got...
Now, were you reading a lot, just trying to get the timeline here, were you reading a lot before the dream, or the dream kick-started everything, not just the
So
YouTube
what
part?
really got me back into my faith was whenever my wife and I got pregnant with our son. So we have a 4-month-old now. And so, like, that kind of, like, opened my eyes, and I started asking the big questions that you kind of ask, like, whenever something big like that happens. Like, what kind of father am I going to be?
Well, going into that, I was going to ask you, so before you go into that, I guess, so what does, like, in your terms and to you, what does fully giving yourself to, I guess, to God, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean in your terms?
Yeah, so choosing his will over my will, it's one thing to say you believe in Jesus. I feel like everybody believes in God nowadays. It's kind of like, oh, you a Christian? Oh, yeah, me too, kind of thing. And that's how I was. And it's like I felt God pulling on my heart to go deeper, you know what I mean? And so it took it from, I heard this quote. It was like, salvation, whenever you get saved, whenever you give your life to Jesus, is not home plate, it's first base. So it's the very first step. And so it's not like the end goal is just, okay, I'm saved and then I can go back to doing whatever I was doing. It's like, no, that's the first step.
Yeah,
and
it never
God comes
ends.
into your life and he starts to do his will, his work through your life, and you're just a vessel for him. And so you start living your life and doing what he wants to do, his will over your will.
And I hate to be like an antagonist, all right? I'm not trying to be an antagonist. I'm genuinely curious, right? So like, how would you determine this is what God wants compared to, all right, this is something that I I just self-righteously want this, right?
Yeah.
Instead, and it not being, what the Lord's will is,
Mhm.
right?
No, I struggled with that for a long time, honestly. And I actually made a video about that. And so what I came to find is like, whenever it comes to pursuing your will versus God's will, you may not even realize it, but if you submit your plans to God, he makes your path straight, like it says that in Proverbs. And it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding. And so in all your ways, submit your paths to him, and he'll make your path straight. And so it's like, I didn't even want to do the YouTube channel. It was uncomfortable for me. I was like, who's going to trust me? I'm not a pastor. I didn't go to Bible school or anything like that. And like I said, I had felt that calling on my life for a while. I would dream, and I would have dreams about like talking on a podcast like this, sharing the gospel, or like talking on a stage someday and like preaching. But I pushed that off for a long time. And then I felt God, calling me to do the videos and sharing my faith, and getting uncomfortable and being bold about my faith and stuff like that. But I would say, whenever you're praying, like saying, God, I choose your will over my will, kind of thing. And again, like, I'm no pastor. I just want to say this and kind of set the record straight. Like, go read your own Bibles, kind of thing. And that's what I say in every single one of my videos. I'm not a pastor. I don't have it all figured out. All I'm doing on these videos is I'm going to the Bible with all these big life questions, like what we should do with like money, success, how should we view everything like that. And I'm just sharing that, with you guys.
Oh, my bad, go ahead.
And how old are you? You said
22.
22. So that's a super unique thing to be doing at your age. And you said you were thinking about, who am I to be listened to in this kind of area? Do you get a lot of pushback on that, being, a younger person speaking out about these topics?
Well, honestly, I don't, because I kind of target young men. So I'm like, I actually made a Discord community. So if you see any of my YouTube videos, I'm always like, at the end of the video, if you're a young man, join the Discord community, kind of thing. So whenever I title my videos or like thumbnail, I usually put like young men or something to do with that sort of thing. So I'm kind of talking to people my age anyways. It's not like I'm not trying to give lifelong business advice from, I'm not sitting in the position of being 50 years old with a successful business. I'm saying, this isn't what I say, this is what God is saying in the Bible. So I'm almost taking the pressure off of me, which is kind of works out. So people don't really come and give me any hate or anything like that. It's more like,
It's like your
young
interpretation.
people. Well, yeah, that. So essentially, just
What a kind of spin off of his question, because that's kind of funny. I was about to ask the same thing, but kind of a little different spin. Personally, not so much like to your audience kickbacks. What about like family or, I guess, friends that maybe knew you before you really got into doing reading the Bible in random places or whatnot, or what they may be? Because look, people worship different and have their own ways of doing things differently.
yeah.
Like, look, like you said, you don't participate at church every weekend. Neither do I. Now, I'm not saying that's right, wrong, whatever, and different. I mean, to myself, I might, like I said, I'll sit in the sauna and I'll think about things or do different things or reflect and do all that. But I'm just curious, being openly out in front of people, like, did any negative, like, like, oh man, what's he trying? You know what I'm saying? Like, because look, people tend to want to judge.
Yeah. Honestly, I haven't had anything like that.
That's good.
Most of my family's Christian, but like I was saying, like, it was more of calling myself a Christian and really like go and read the Bible for myself, kind of thing, and saying, well, what do I do as a Christian? And then I read, Jesus says, go and make disciples, stuff like that. And then I knew I had the talents and the gifts of like social media, kind of have like a social media background. I've been a full-time content creator since 2021. So it's like, I have these gifts and talents. I can do this. I felt the calling of my life, and then I just did it, and I haven't looked back. And ultimately, I would love to do YouTube full-time, kind of in that position where I'm doing other things to make money, to pay the bills, and then YouTube is making a little bit of money on the side. I would love for that to be my full-time thing.
So basically, though, you're a full-time content creator, and that's what's paying all of the bills right now.
Yeah. So I do TikTok Shop as my full main thing. I've been doing that for about a year, and then I also do some stuff with like creating content for brands outside of TikTok every now and then. I do a little bit of stuff on Amazon, so I kind of just do all things content creation in different areas. And then the YouTube channel it's been growing a lot, and I think it can have the potential to be my full-time thing in the future.
Now the TikTok shop stuff, is that all for unrelated brands, or does that have to do with your YouTube channel and kind of your brand?
Yeah, completely unrelated,
Okay,
honestly.
yeah,
like,
okay.
so I have a
That's what you was
golden.
about to ask too,
Well, I was gonna ask.
So I have a golden retriever, and before my son was born, me and him, that was like my personality. My dog was like my personality, and so I actually made a TikTok account where I'm basically promoting dog products. And so half of my workday sometimes is just filming dog products, and I'm having fun, playing with a automatic ball toy and filming TikTok shop videos and like saying, go buy this for your dog and stuff like that.
you
Well, I
That's
always
a lot
wonder
of
because look, I
fun.
always see that on TikTok, different products, and I always wonder how. I mean, look, obviously, don't give away your secrets of what you do to where it hinders your business. But
No, give away some secrets. I mean, that's
No.
why people are watching.
no, I mean, no. But I'm saying I'm not trying. I don't want everybody to
people
poach
with
on the
success, I
man's
mean-
deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's his bread and butter. I'm not trying to. But I guess what I'm saying is, like,
I'm
I
actually,
guess does it matter what I mean, because it
No.
always like I always see this random stuff. I'm like, hold up.
I'm actually really.
I know a couple of people. I'm like, they don't ever fool with those kind of products, but it's just random stuff. So like,
Yeah.
can you just like see a product and be like, oh, I want to make a video about this?
So I
Is
mean,
that-
yeah, you can, and there's a skill behind it, and there's also a factor of luck. But like when it comes to like breaking down a video, you can have a strategy going into it,
Okay.
and the product matters and stuff like that. So sometimes it is just filming a random product around your house, happens to go viral, and then you making $1,000 from that video or
Okay.
That's
something.
what I was kind of saying earlier. So like, I know that's probably gonna be like one of the bigger things that's coming up, and I know a lot of people are starting to catch the trends. So I saw a video the other day. It was some girl. I didn't watch the video personally on TikTok, but somebody made a video on it on, I believe it was like Instagram or it was Instagram Reels, like showing people the power of TikTok Shop, right? So this chick, she was shampooing somebody's hair, and the thing got like 1.7 million
Mm-hmm.
views while she was live, and she was literally just explaining the product and showing how to use the product
Mhm.
while she was shampooing the hair. I mean, let's just say she gets 10% conversion rate. We just did the math a few minutes ago, and whenever we talked about it before, I think it ended up being like she did 10% conversion rate on 1.7 million, and let's say the shampoo is selling for $25 a bottle. You're talking about 4.2 million, something like that.
A lot of money. And honestly, I have a few people like that in my life where like I have a few friends who are like really doing well on TikTok Shop, and they're pulling in, I mean, consistent like 20, 30, 50K months commission
Really?
yeah.
Just off of TikTok shop?
just off of TikTok Shop. And I'm
Like,
not
like,
anywhere
like-
Man,
near.
we about to y'all got some products? Hey, we be-
No, no,
I
no,
don't
no,
care how
no, no,
successful it is. You ain't shampooing my head, man.
No,
I know that's what you're trying to get into. It's not
Oh,
happening.
look, hey, yeah.
What's his hair shampoo? He's trying,
oh, anime over there.
look at my hair. That's what he's like.
No, but
"That
that's
takes
how some of the
work."
people are. They're like do videos like that. But like I was going back to kind of your question and stuff like that. Yeah, it comes down to a science sometimes with like a strategy on how to promote products and stuff. Like
They
you
got
have a hook in the first 3 seconds
yeah.
and a breakdown, and you don't want to come off too salesy, but you also want to get them to buy the product and stuff.
And
So they
where
got
did you
guys
learn
around
those
here, though?
strategies?
What you say? They got guys around here doing that. 30, 50,000 a month on TikTok Shop.
Not anybody that I know around here.
Okay, I was
I just
about
know
to
them
say.
from TikTok and
Okay.
online and stuff like that.
But I was asking, where did you learn like the strategies you use for that?
Okay, so basically where I learned this is, how I mentioned I was doing that Amazon thing. So I was basically doing Amazon videos, and that was before TikTok Shop really became a big thing.
Yeah, you was doing Amazon videos, like doing product reviews underneath the Amazon products.
Correct,
right?
exactly. And so in the midst of this, I found this 17-year-old kid making videos, trying to make money online, and I just reached out to him. I was like, hey man, he's a little bit younger than me, and I was like, keep doing what you're doing. And then over time, we created this like friendship, and I'm still friends with him to today. And he started doing TikTok Shop. I said, look, I'm not getting into that TikTok Shop stuff. I'm staying focused on Amazon, what's working for me, until I started seeing how much money he started making. He was 18 years old, pulling in like $30,000-$40,000 a
That's
month.
insane.
Dude, and it's just
And
like
then-
That's
no
insane.
expenses, no. What,
Yeah, it's just your phone. And then in December of last
Yeah,
year,
because you don't even have to handle any products. You're
No.
just that's so
you're
crazy.
just literally the middleman that's literally just promoting the product. It's almost like a brand affiliate. But
exactly.
but I guess you make it in your own way to be your own brand affiliate.
So yeah, you're an affiliate. You're the middleman. But that same guy, he did 150K in commission in December of last year. And so, he started doing those crazy numbers. That's where I learned.
What
I
he
just
was
reached back
selling?
out to him. I think he did the big month on Rise supplements, like the workout.
Oh, that was popular
thing.
for a while.
That
Yeah.
was-
That,
did
I
get
think that was
popular
his
from
main
that.
product, and he was just promoting that because he was like a gym influencer kind of guy. And so that's where I learned.
So have
And
you
I've been
have you
doing
gotten do they like these product people? Do they reach back out to you? Like, say if you got this like big month or whatever,
Mhm.
do they like reach out and be like,
Yeah,
hey
that's
guys?
like-
Yeah, they
oh,
do.
they do reach out and say,
Yeah,
hey.
so like for example, right now, so that's what is referred to as like retainers or brand deals. And so you can work with the company and get like a flat rate.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
so
Okay.
like it actually works out because if you have like a low month in commissions,
and you got some steady.
you can kind of negotiate with the brand. So I'll share for one product that I'm promoting right now, it's a dog supplement. And so they pay me $1,000 a month to do 30 videos. So one video a day. Well, and I just do a TikTok shop video a day. They pay me that base rate. And then I know I have that income coming in on top
That's
of commission.
crazy because of dog stuff. It's like, yeah, dogs love it, and it's like, right, Fido and the roof, yeah, okay, he loves it. Like what?
Is that right, Frido?
Fido, whatever. I
Fido.
don't even know what your dog's name is.
My dog's name's Oakley.
Oakley, yes.
Yeah,
Well, not
but
close.
It's like even with the dog supplements, it's like playing on people's not playing on people's emotions, but like it's emotion provoking. So it's like, does your dog itch and scratch? Do you know that they're in a lot of pain?
You don't take this as tail.
Yeah, so it's like, what is that? Get to the root issue. Go get a probiotic, and then you put
don't
the product
mistreat
there.
your animal.
So what so dog stuff, and then what else? I know you was talking about something else that you were saying earlier, e-bike or something.
Yeah, so that was mainly recently. I started promoting an e-bike. I've been trying to do it.
That's the big electric bike company.
Yeah, so it's a $700 bike, and
Yeah, my dad just bought like 2 of them.
it's $40 a commission. So my strategy with that is I've been doing lives. I've been seeing a lot of people making money with lives. I reached out to some guys. They pretty much taught me what to do, and did a lot of research on the product, seeing what the sales are, seeing what the live competitors are doing. And some of these guys are doing like $1,000 days promoting products on live, like e-bikes. And so I was like, look, I think I could sell an e-bike. That thing's pretty cool. I want an e-bike myself, so
Yeah, but
I started going on lives.
that seems like a stretch to me for an e-bike. All right, you're selling a $700 e-bike, you're getting a $40 commission off of that one sale. So then for it even to be worth it for you.
Yeah, but
for
do
like
they
a
give you an
live.
e-bike?
No,
To test
I
out?
mean, I didn't reach out. I just bought the e-bike myself.
Oh,
'cause
you
I,
bought one.
So I bought an e-bike because I did the research behind it.
Well, I'm
And I
just
was
saying,
like-
no, that's all cool and all, but I'm saying like for it to be like, is it worth your time and is it actually worth your time for the effort that you put into it, right? So for $40 commission, how long are you staying on these lives, and then how many e-bikes would you have to sit? I mean, let's think about it. You have to
Mhm.
sit, and then how many people realistically have $700 to throw at an e-bike? So
I think you would be surprised,
Really?
honestly. So like the top creator that's promoting this e-bike that I'm promoting, and obviously I'm not gonna say the certain brand or
Mm-hmm.
anything. He's doing $1,000 a day promoting this e-bike.
that's crazy.
So he's doing about 30 grand a month in commissions, and so he's the top creator. The next guy was doing like $25,000 a month.
and they selling that many e-bikes.
Yes,
Who's buying these e-bikes? Do they have?
I have no idea what the demographic
Well, listen, I'll be
is,
honest.
to
I'm
be honest.
serious. My dad just bought 2 of them for his camp.
Dude, e-bikes are a huge thing right now because like teenagers and stuff like that, they want to go ride them with
No,
their
look,
friends.
they're
and stuff.
fast too. You can do 30 miles an hour on these things.
On the little e-bikes?
Yeah,
Yes.
the
Oh,
one
yeah.
Well, I
that I
know-
promote goes 31 miles.
I know
an
they.
hour.
Yes,
I
it's
see, I
wild.
know they kind of they cool and all, but like it's just like how realistic is it to get? You know what I mean?
Look, I'm
That
telling you.
depends on where you live. Like when
Dad
I
just bought
lived in
2 of 'em for
Hawaii,
the
dude,
camp.
people drove those things like crazy.
That
Yeah,
actually
if
is
you live in the
smart,
city,
yeah.
I mean, like e-bikes and stuff like that, like it just depends on what angle you want to sell it at. Like
Mm.
I would
What
say
I-
people take them hunting and go out to the deer stand on them instead.
Well,
of
that's what I was about to say
driving a four-wheeler.
too. It like or these people. But my way to be is all right. If I'm only getting a $40 commission, because in my eyes that's not enough for even an hour for 1 hour of
Mhm.
me to be on TikTok live. So how can I get as many e-bikes sold as possible to one person. So what I would be doing is I would be trying to go business to business right now. I'll be looking for rental companies in Hawaii, rental companies in Arizona, Scottsdale, New Orleans, Austin, Texas, looking for anybody that's looking to buy 30, 40 of these bikes to put them out. You know, what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be my angle. And
Well,
then
I feel like with something like that, they're probably going to like the manufacturer, probably.
to get them at a cheaper price.
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. So something like that. But I think you'd be really surprised with how
But
many
it-
people are
But
buying
you
off
said
of TikTok.
you said you sold just one on that.
Yeah, so I
But
started.
is the
brand
goal to
new on
sell
Monday.
like
Oh yeah,
multiple
yeah, yeah.
in a single? So then it'd be worth it if you sell multiple in that.
So
one.
here's
Yeah,
the here's
yeah,
the
yeah.
strategies behind it. You come in, you do the research, see the top guy. If he's doing lives 4 hours a day promoting this e-bike and he's doing $1,000 a day, and then I come in and I start doing 6 hours a day on live, and I start making sales, TikTok is gonna give me the viewers. Because why would TikTok just wants to make money? They're gonna give the viewers to whoever's making TikTok the most money.
Right.
So it's a business relationship, and so that's kind of the idea. I'm gonna come in, go live for the longest time. If I have a decent enough setup compared to the top creator, if I'm able to sell good enough compared to that top creator, and he's doing $1,000 a day, I'm gonna go live longer than him, and then that's the idea, is give me the viewers. So that's kind of the strategy with TikTok Shop.
Interesting.
Do you
kinda-
just do your sales on TikTok, or do you do some of your Bible verse stuff as well on TikTok?
Yeah, so this is completely separate topics. TikTok Shop pays my bills, and I'll do like the dog products, the e-bike. I
Yeah,
do
so
some
you don't
running
mix 'em.
shoes, all stuff on TikTok, and it's random accounts. It's not even my name, so I'm just promoting products. YouTube is like my personal brand, you could say, and I'm reading the Bible in the open fields and stuff like that. And so, talking about business, talking about success, money, stuff like that.
With that being said, what would be like, I guess, 2 things that you would give somebody some advice on if they were trying to start their own YouTube channel and trying to monetize off of that channel?
Yeah. So biggest piece of advice that I could give, and again, I never feel like I'm in a position to even give advice because I feel like I got really lucky. But something looking back that's really been well for me is authenticity. Just people want to hear from people, especially whenever you're on like an emotional topic, like talking about the Bible, talking about God, Jesus. It's like trust is a big factor. Authenticity is a big factor. And so every single video, I have my Bible in my hand, and I'm like, look, guys, I'm not a pastor. I didn't go to Bible school, so if that's a video looking for, this is not it. I'm just a young 22-year-old guy reading the Bible, searching for the truth because I want to live my life the way that God says to live it. And this is what it says about money and
So
business
you kind of
and
level
success.
you level with your audience before you even.
Very relatable. And it takes the pressure off of me because it's like I don't have to have it all figured out because like I'm the last person to have everything figured out. And I
Yeah,
never want to
nobody
come
can
off.
really say, "Oh, he's trying to do more than what he's saying." No,
Exactly.
You're being level with him.
So so authenticity is probably the number one thing. And another thing, I guess, just like something that's really helped me is, it's ironic because it's controversy. So my most viewed video is coming up on 300,000 views. I sat in front of a mansion, or behind a mansion with a mansion in the backdrop, and I titled it "Young Rich Fool: What the Bible Says About Pursuing Wealth." And so I read out of the Bible what it says, and it was talking about Jesus told this parable. And again, I can't quote it exactly. I'm not gonna be able to tell you word for word, but essentially what he was talking about is this guy, this farmer, he had a really good year, so much that he filled up his entire barns. And then he said, what am I gonna do? I have all this surplus grain, where am I gonna store it? So what he did was he tore down the barns and went build bigger barns. And then he essentially retired and he laid up, he was good for life and stuff like that. And so Jesus said, you're a fool because your life can be demanded from you this very night, meaning the guy would die. So who's going to get what you stored up for yourself? And so that's what the topic of that video was about, like storing up for yourself on earth, like trying to make as much money as you can, all for what kind of thing, if you're not right with God. Like Mark 8:36, I think it is, says, what does it profit a man to gain the entire world but forfeit his soul? So It kind of takes you back.
Yeah.
So it kinda takes
Oh
you back.
man, look, it makes you think though.
It makes you
Oh,
think
yeah.
about
Yeah,
stuff.
well, that's kind of
like,
the.
look, honestly, that's deep. Like,
that's a deep. That's a deep.
he
It's
got
deep,
that,
bro.
That's just like you slashing
oh
me, boy. You
man,
get me
that's man.
got hard.
And that's kind of what I talk. I go on the deep topics on my YouTube channel. That's kind of what I like to go about. I'm talking about. So
But no, I like
And-
that though, because it's just like at the end of the day, you know, that's what we talk about it. We always trying to make. I mean, we are. I mean, we want to. We always talk about it on this podcast too. We want to make a lot of money to be able to do the things that we want to do and be places that we want to be, and you know, so it's just like I don't know. It'd almost be like I want to disagree with you on some of the things probably, but then it's just like it makes sense also because it's like.
So this is the biggest thing that I've found. So like, if you were to ask a question, what does the Bible say about money? What is it? Some Christians think that money is bad. Jesus never said money itself is bad. I think the best way to look at it is that money is a tool, and one of the biggest things he warned us about
Is
was
that it could be used for bad?
what actually the love of money.
Okay.
So like, putting money above God, and that's kind of like
Right.
the biggest thing that I've had to reflect on my own life is, you know, what is my end all be all? If push comes to shove, like, what is my most highest priority in life? Is it trying to get rich, or is it God?
But it is it too in the life that we live these days, how everything moves so fast, and that you kind of need money to live and to be able to do the things that you want to be able to do. So like, if you didn't have money and you didn't have the means, you wouldn't be posting YouTube videos for people to be able to see. So it's just like, at what point is it like?
At what point do you draw the line?
Yeah.
Essentially,
Yeah, like or that you say, all right, like
I
Is
see
it-
what you're saying. It's almost like a double-edged sword.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
it,
know what I mean?
it absolutely is. So the Bible does say to do things like provide for your family. In 1 Timothy 5:8, I think it is. Of course, I'm blanking on it right now, but he that doesn't provide for his family has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. So he's not saying you got to be poor. It's not about that at all. And he warns about the love of money. He says you cannot love both, or you cannot serve both God and money. So it's like there's going to be that one thing that's like your end all be all in your life. For a lot of people, that's money. And that's where people get it confused that Jesus is talking about the love of money, but they think they think Jesus is saying money is bad. Money is the root of all evil. No,
Well-
it's the love of money is the root of all evil.
Well, I mean, even if you think about it like logically, I mean, the Bible also preaches charity. If you don't have something to
Yeah.
Exactly.
commit that charity,
Yeah.
you know, how are you going to do it?
Yeah.
Well, then I was
So
about to say that was good feed into my next one because like that's something that I struggle with. Not struggle with like I donate a lot of money right every year to different foundations, different things, right? But I don't personally agree with like I have friends who do it and it's tithing, right?
mhm.
And they give a certain percentage of their check every month to the church that they go to.
Mhm.
And I just don't agree with that at all. I'm just like, I don't know how you can do that, bro. I'm just like, you don't know where that money's going. Why don't you give the money straight to somewhere that you know,
Sure.
St. Jude's Cancer Hospital. They're
Yeah.
always looking for money. It could be anything, you know.
Well, but I think that gets going to that, and the reason I'm gonna say this is because
They're just
I call it the celebrity pastor, so to say. Like, look at all the ones that live in these big mansions, drive all these fancy cars.
Well,
the
that's why I go with it. It's
Like,
just like
I don't remember which one. What's the popular one that has like 3 jets or whatever?
I know who you're talking
No,
about.
I know what you mean. They have a lot of those.
Anyway,
it-
my
it-
point is,
guys.
I think that's where it gets mixed up.
I mean, even going
Yeah.
back even to a small town, just being honest with you, in Pierreport, we had our priest always lived next to our church. Well, I don't know how many years ago, this was so many years ago, we got somebody donated some type of money or we got some type of grants or something. Well, all of a sudden we renovated and made the church a lot nicer. But you know, it also popped up a 2-story house on the
Big
island.
ol' house,
Yeah, big
yeah.
old house on the island.
Yeah.
And then that's what's made for the
Well, look,
priests
the
and all
funds.
living and
Look,
all.
in those aspects, look, the funds I can promise you to get neglected. At
Correct.
Some
It's
point.
not necessarily always used for good.
No,
or
and
the
it's
right
not always used for
reasons.
good. But see, that's where the good and evil thing comes in.
Well, that's what
I feel like there is some churches that actually utilize the money and will distribute it to the way it's supposed to be.
Well, that's what my
But then
Right.
you got these ones that need a jet because he said he can't ride with normal people because of sin.
Well, that's
like,
the
look,
same-
Well, my buddy
that's
goes
crazy.
my buddy goes and says, well, at the end of the day, it's not your job and not your responsibility to worry about what they do once you give it or
Yeah.
whatever, right? Like as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do. I'm just like, at the
It
end
doesn't sit right with you.
No, it
Listen,
don't.
you want my
honestly-
opinion? I'm about the free will. Like, listen, if I want to donate, I'm going to donate. But I'm not going to be told how much I got to donate and how often I got to donate.
Correct.
Like, listen,
Yeah.
you take my donation and you be appreciative.
For sure.
And if you don't like that, then it's like, but I know what you're talking about. Oh, they'll make you sign half you.
And you got to
And so-
realize
Or
it's the same
percentage.
as with any charity. Like you give to a charity that's for children's cancer research, and then you find out only 2% of what you give is actually going to them.
Right.
So the only solution to all that, you know what it is? Save up enough money to start your own charity, and then you can make sure the money goes where you want it to go. That's really the only solution. So until you have that kind of means, right, saving
But
up that
then
money
again,
to do
Well, no,
good with
I,
it,
well, I'll bring this
you
to
do the
y'all.
best you
You
can.
do.
Think about
you,
this,
you do.
listen.
We do need to do that, but I want to hear that too. But at the end of the day, nonprofits. They
Right.
don't even. That's what you're about to go on.
No, I was gonna go in a little different spin, but like, look, every now and then, I'll see a guy on the side of the road, whether they have a sign or something says, "Oh, I'm hungry" or whatever. Okay, well that's cool. Like, and then the question got brought to me. Well, why are you giving him money? You don't know if he's just gonna buy cigarettes or beer or,
Right.
or whatever it is, drugs, whatever. I told him, I said, listen. I always ask the question. I don't say, "Hey, do you need drugs or cigarettes?" I mean, I'm not going that route.
But you need a pack of
Well, no,
Marlboro
yeah,
lights.
what you need, a
Marlboro
vape?
lights and a
No, you
spin?
know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying, 40? No, all I'm saying. No,
Give me a pack of lights and a 40.
Yeah. All I'm saying is like, well, I'll say, "Hey, dude, are you hungry?" Because that's normally what the signs say, they're hungry or something. And he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm hungry." All right, cool. Give him $20. Look, go get you something to eat. Somebody was ask me the question, well, how you know they're using it? Listen, I don't really care. After I leave, in my mind, I gave him $20 to eat.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't care what he spends it on. Listen, I'm
You're
not
doing
saying
the
it's
best you
right,
can.
but if he wants to go get crack, go get some crack. But listen, it's not he's not doing it. I'm not saying, "Hey, let me hop in my car. I'm gonna go pick you up and eat." That's not what I'm saying.
So I think if we turn to like what the Bible kind of says about that kind of stuff, I mean, Jesus talks about being generous and not having a stingy heart. So like I think you have the right mindset with you're gonna do it, and then it's like it's kind of
he's
up
got to
to
make
them.
his own choices. To,
Yeah,
you know
which
what I'm
makes
saying?
sense. But I also heard this perspective, and
Uh-oh.
and it's kind of goes against what you just said. I'm not gonna lie.
I was about to-
Look,
No,
that's why I
just-
said it because I've heard different
No,
things.
look,
I was about to say I don't ever give them money. If like somebody's on the food, I'll go out.
I will
we've done
go
it
buy the
before.
food too and
Correct.
bring
Yeah.
it. But listen,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm in a hurry. I don't have time to go sit in the drive-thru to go
Oh,
pull
yeah,
the
dude,
food.
which is
there's
understandable.
been times
man,
we
get
got
it.
out of McDonald's line and like I was younger and we passed by like in the bag section like New Orleans, whatever. I remember there was this one time we just bought like 3 cheeseburgers, like 2 things of nuggets, fries, whatever. And we saw like a group of people and I was young. I was like, I really felt bad for them. I was like,
Mhm.
"Hey, can we throw it?" And my dad was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then we just like literally just took our entire meal that we just bought, threw it out, and then went pick up a new meal
Yeah,
and gave
that's
it all
awesome.
to them.
Now I did have one. Now this was kind of wild. I'm gonna tell you this. I did have this one. My wife was with me, so this was kind of wild. We did pick up one food one time, and this is the only time it's happened. But like, look, they're appreciative normally of the food. But then I had this one girl say, "Oh, I don't drink Coca-Cola."
Oh, here we go.
wow.
Man, I straight up listen. I'll tell you what. I dumped the Coke out. And I said, "Well, here, take the rest." I straight up look. But like, I mean,
I want to hear what you
I
would
was
say.
So
aggravated.
yeah, so like whenever it comes to like you doing your part and you're giving the money and whatever you're kind of saying what they decide to do is up to them, you're kind of like okay with that. Like I kind of had that same mindset until I was exposed to this, and it's like in my discovery with what the Bible says about money and how we should go about handling it, it's instead of looking at yourself as an owner of that money, it's God that gives you the ability to produce the wealth. And so it's like if you really submit yourself to God, you're saying, God, you're holding it out with an open hand and saying, God, what do you want me to do with this money? It's yours. And so you have the responsibility of what happens with that money as well. So it's like, yes, you hand it off to the homeless person. And I'm not trying to discourage anybody from giving. That's of course not what I'm trying to do. But it almost puts that responsibility on you. Are you just funding their addiction?
Correct.
kinda
That's what I was
thing.
about. That's
So,
what,
like,
that's
you
what,
have
that's what
that
I was
sort
thinking
of-
on it. whenever
Okay, well,
he-
listen, that's why I brought it up because people will sometimes say, but look, I mean, I get that,
Which I'm not trying to say like you
But-
can't give money. That's not
but
what I'm
hear
trying to
me
say at
out.
all.
Hear me out. Okay, let's spin this way and let's see what your thought is.
Okay.
And No, don't. We not gotta go into a crazy thing. This is gonna be just a comment. But I know what you're gonna say. Like, oh, I thought we're not gonna bring it up. No, we're not. My point is, okay, guns were originally made to hunt with, right? Now, if you got a gun and or somebody sells a person a gun that say to go hunting and now they go take out somebody or do something like that, well, that's not the gun shop's fault.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
But no, it makes sense. It's kind of the same thing. Like, it's not saying that, hey, we created this tool. Listen, at some point, people got to be responsible for.
Are you going like are you trying to say like?
No, I'm trying to give a comparison.
Like you say,
No,
like
yeah, I get
guns
what you- I
don't
get what
kill
you're
people,
saying.
people kill people.
Correct.
You're
Well, no,
gonna
my
enrage all the
toes don't
Europeans in the
toes-
audience.
toes
Oh, that girl.
toes
No,
don't-
that's kind of crazy.
toes don't toast
Hamburgers
toes.
don't make hamburgers. People make hamburgers. Well, yeah.
No, it's
Buns don't make hamburgers.
No,
What did she
listen,
say?
it's this one. It's toes don't toast toast. Toast toast toast.
Toasters, yeah. But no, but my
Think about
point,
that.
yeah, well, no, that was a whole big thing. But no, listen, my point is, same thing with the money. Yes, I get it. I gave the money, but no, my intention was not to enable the guy. Now, I will tell you this. This is another story, fun fact. We were at a Saints game in Seattle. And look, this guy come up to me. He's like, hey, man, who that? And I'm like, oh, what's up, man? He's like, I'm like, you're a who that face? He's like, no, I live in Seattle, but I said, oh, you watching it? No, he said, man, I'm kind of homeless. I'm like, kind of homeless? I mean, what does that mean? But he was like, well, I'm like, on the streets. Okay. I said, okay, well, cool, man. I said, well, how's your day? He's like, it really is not going that well. I said, okay. I said, well, what's up? How can I help you? He's like, I'll be honest, man, I had a rough day. He's like, I just need a beer. I was like, you know what? That's
You
kinda...
be real with me?
Hold on, wait.
At least
This
he's
is what was
honest.
crazy. I was like, you know what? I kind of respect that.
Straight up.
And because I'm like, listen, he didn't try to like sugarcoat it or say, man, I'm hungry or kind of do the whole spiel or whatever. He might have said like, oh man, no, can you give me some food? I need money for food or I need just a couple dollars. No, he was like, look, I'll be real with you. I just need a beer. I had a hard day. I said, well, guess what? I'm going to get some beers right now. I said, just stand right here. I'll be right back. I got the man a beer and walked in. We sat on the thing and we talked. I said, man, talk to me. So we sat and drank and we had a beer. I said, but listen, there's one thing I need you to do. He's like, what's that? So they had a little vendor with some Saints shirts. I bought him a shirt. I said, you need to put this shirt on. You need to wear this for the rest of the day.
And that's how
did.
we met Nick.
But look, no, yeah, by the way. But no,
if you
that's
pick me
the
up-
crazy.
if you pick me
I
up-
picked him up in Seattle. Now he's on. Yeah, that's crazy.
That would be
that would be
crazy.
so wild. Hey, this Nick said that. But no, I mean, look, it's stuff like that. Like, look, he was
Yeah,
honest, straight up. Now, yeah, again, that one would go back to given the addiction. Now, whether he was an alcoholic, I don't know.
Right.
But I mean, listen, it did make his day at the moment.
I bet Pastor
So-
Bill, we need to show him this episode, and Pastor Bill will have a field day.
Oh, no
Oh,
doubt.
no.
So I think kind of to reel everything back in, going a little, but yeah, I see what you're saying for sure. And one thing that because I used to look at like the homeless people and I'm like, I don't want to give them money because what are they gonna go do with it, kind of thing. That stopped me from giving for so long, and so I definitely understand where you're coming from. But I think the closer that you get to God, or like whenever he starts to do a work in your heart becomes more like. It breaks for what breaks his heart, if that makes sense. So you see that homeless person, and you don't know if they have a addiction to alcohol. You don't know if they're alcoholic or anything like that. But like, I think that kind of is where you can kind of go about it. Is you start to see them as a hurting person and stuff.
But you know what honestly
And-
changed it up for me? I'll be honest with you. The way I thought about it different. Because I used to be like that, and I used to not want to give the money because I think they were wasting it. But then, you know, I used to buy the food. But then I got to the point, I'm like, you know what? Honestly, it's kind of like in business. Like, look, my company, I have several people that work for me. Now, I pay them each month for a service that they do. I don't go tell them how they got to spend their money.
I think this is a hard. I think. what we
No,
talk-
it's not,
no,
though.
But,
It's
yeah, but I
not.
think this
It's
is just
not.
this one thing, like the feeding homeless people. Is
My
just
point
like
is-
such a hard thing to base around this kind.
It's very hard to see like
Yeah.
what you should actually do.
Well, no, it is, but I get to both points. But that's what changed it for me because I'm like, listen, I can't tell. I mean, even though that I'm giving these guys money for hard-earned money that they've earned, I can't go tell them, hey, you need to spend on this. No, someone will go blow their money on something, and then they won't have money the next week.
I mean, it just goes back to like I see what you're saying, but it just.
So my point is, look, as long as my intention, the person that gave it was in the right place. Now, listen, if I had the intention to say, oh man, why don't you go take this and do some drugs, then yeah, that's kind of messed up. But my intention was originally to be.
No, I get what you're
I
saying.
get what you're saying, but like at the same time, like what I'm thinking about right now while you're saying that is, let's say you're a landlord who owns Section 8 houses, and like what I think is really good that they're doing is right now they just put in I'm pretty sure they're trying to put in a bill right now where if you live in a Section 8 house, you only have 2 years to live in it and to get your stuff together to be able to move out and go and do whatever you need to do because you have so many people that's taking advantage of it and just living for $0 to $100 a month in a Section 8 house, living off of the government and living off of taxpayers' money. And now they saying, all right, you should only need 2 years in a Section 8 house to get yourself together to be able to move on. Now, are you saying that because these people that buy into these Section 8 programs and that own these buildings, are they enabling these people that let them stay in there for long periods of time?
No, because the government's funding. The government's the way the Section 8 housing works. The government pays the property owner directly. The money don't come through the person. It don't go to the person.
So if you own Section 8 housing and the government is paying you,
yeah. So listen.
Own that
So
Section 8
the
housing?
government says, okay, you got this tenant and this tenant. We're gonna pay the property owner that owns the building. The check is sent from the government. It don't come from the person to give them the money. They don't get the money, then they pay you. The government pays you directly. Yeah, it's government funded.
But
the reason they swap them out like that is so that the person that owns the property is not just getting a steady. I mean, they got to change them out now. They got waiting lists for these things. Like people, they swap people. They put people in these different. It's a sign up program.
Well, yeah, I know that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I think they have such an influx on it that
Well,
they're making like a 2-year cap where you can only be in it for so long.
Yeah.
So that's why I was kind of getting at the point where, I mean, same scenario. Like, are you enabling them to just keep on, not living their life to the fullest of what they could be?
Yeah. And I mean, and honestly, the whole idea of like, should you give and how do you give and all that, God looks at your heart. Like, kind of like what you were saying the whole time. Like, there is a level that you're responsible of like what happens after you do give that money. But at the end of the day, God looks at your heart. And I think what people do too often is they want to give that money so that they feel right with God. But that's Jesus warns about that as well.
I was about to say that's like
It's just like double-edged sword after double-edged sword. It's
Well,
like it's
and-
kind of
and
hard to
God's
go about
true,
it.
And God's
Well-
not social media watching you give out sandwiches to the
No,
homeless
correct.
for clout. God
I hate
knows.
that.
If you mean
Yes.
it, He knows. And even
Yeah.
if you are somebody doing it on social media, if you actually mean it and you're doing that, God
Which-
knows. He's not
Which
the people
Jesus
in the comments section.
Jesus spoke about this whenever he was looking to the Pharisees, which is like the religious leaders at the time. They would give a lot of money and they would like show it and let everybody around them know, oh, I'm bringing in this much money. But then he looked at the poor widow, I think it was, who only had like 2 coins to put in the plate. And God said she was doing more. She gave more because she gave all she had. And it was the heart.
So you ready for it?
The more
Yeah.
views, the more eyeballs he gets on him, the more money.
Yeah,
It's like
I
the
mean,
that
Saints want to
he
raise
can then
money.
go give. So it's like,
yeah.
well, look, they
If
all
the
do it.
Saints
You
want
know
to
what
raise
I'm
money
saying,
for
though?
It's
charity,
very
they'll
hard
do
to
I
it.
know,
feel
but
about
listen, you made a comment about the guy that I think you're talking about this one. The one who's like, "Hey, can I get 1,000 steaks to cook for the homeless?" And then like he goes in, they give him like 10 steaks.
But my thing
Like,
is, it's just
all
like
right.
you don't have to.
And they're always like, "Oh wait, it's
I
for
just-
the homeless."
No, dude. My
Then we're
thing
gonna give
is,
it to you for
they
free.
just trying.
Yeah, I've
You
seen
know?
those
Yeah.
videos.
Like, okay,
yeah.
like listen.
They trying
Does
too
that
hard.
happen like that?
Yeah.
No, it's not happening like
Well,
that.
no.
I
They-
get it. It's for
they-
views,
They
but
stage and
yeah.
shit, and
he's
they-
still feeding people.
What? Yeah, but
True.
it's staging shit and all, and then it's just like, man, like how you said earlier, I like authenticity, and I just don't feel like that's it with him, and I feel like he's doing it for the wrong reasons, and that's a byproduct of his charity and his stuff is a byproduct of what he's doing to what he wants to get at. Honestly, like in a light of like good and evil,
but
I
okay.
really think Mr.
So, but
Beast is-
that's his.
But let me
that's
ask you
his-
this: what's the
his-
difference between another billionaire that's has a separate company that's not catered around helping people and donates
because they're
a
not
couple $1 million?
They're not necessarily every day putting it on camera and saying, "Hey, I just gave this much to this person,"
Yeah.
and then using it to build their name and make it bigger.
But
you
that's-
don't see me going around town and saying, "Hey, I just donated this amount of money to this charity and to this organization."
But you
Or
also
do
don't have
see
$1
it?
billion.
Huh? I'm also, just like he just said, the lady with 2 coins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like
but I would argue, like, even I see what you're saying, but like at the end of the day,
I can
who
make.
are we to say how somebody else's heart posture is? Like, that's kind of my perspective.
And
Yeah.
I'll
Like,
We
take
don't
it
know
even-
people's true motives, even if we can judge them on the outside. Like that's kind of the whole point of Jesus coming. It's like it doesn't even matter what's happening on the out. Obviously it matters, but like it matters more of what's happening inside, meaning what's happening with your heart. Like he said about the Pharisees, they clean the outside of their cup, but in the inside it's all disgusting and gross.
This is what the reason why I even said that or even mention it, because if you even just do basic math, the 40 million that they raise to do 40,000 years of drinking water, clean drinking water, it's not feasible. It's not gonna work. It's never gonna work. They already did the research. They did all the things that they need to do. It's impossible to create the infrastructure and to make it last and it actually work. So what they just did was just a clout campaign to get more followers and more stuff. And where did this 40 million actually go to? Because I know it's not actually all going to clean drinking water. I'm just being straight up. And if they have the receipts to prove it and show, please, like prove me wrong. But at the end of the day, man, as I said, just go do some simple math and some simple research. $40 million, dude, just for like, I'm pretty sure like the state of Louisiana, for us to have clean drinking and clean water for all of our citizens around us and stuff. I'm pretty sure we spend like a couple $1 billion a year, and this is one state. And what you think 40 million is gonna even scratch the surface? Come on, man.
Yeah, but I think their thing for clean drinking water is like clean wells, not necessarily.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't think the standard is going to be the
facility.
same.
But the problem is they man,
To relate it back
it's not gonna work
to him is, what I was saying before was with Mr. Beast, that's his realm. If the Saints wanted to raise money for charity, they're going to do a football game. People could say, oh, that's just bringing attention to your football team. But, I mean, even look at with what you do. And I know you said earlier off camera you haven't gotten too much of this, but I guarantee there's people who watch your channel and go, he's using the Bible for clout, which we know you're not.
Mm-hmm.
But there's going to be people who think that, right? Because people would say, well, why not just, do the Bible thing in your own community or talk to people you know?
Right.
But you have the tools. Your realm is social media and YouTube. You have the tools to bring it out in that realm, so that's what you do. Mr. Beast has the ability to run these fundraisers through his clout, so that's what he builds. I'm not necessarily defending Mr. Beast, I don't know, but I'm saying, if that's your realm, that's what you do.
I think I gotta meet the guy, and I
just want to know if there's like this alternate universe, and then Mr. B sitting there and he's like, God, I hate Nick saying shit.
Well, dude,
Well,
it's
look,
just like shit.
I did want to add, there is a Bible verse that says, whenever you give, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. So it's like, that means like give in secret kind of thing. Don't do it for everyone to see.
You don't have to.
Mhm.
But it's like at the same time, should he not have helped all those people? Then it's like, or should he have just done it? I don't know, because his whole business is based off of showing everything.
But let me ask you this. You think I'm not saying, calm down, Nick, before I even say this. What I'm saying is maybe, and I could be wrong, I don't know, but maybe he figured if he shows it on YouTube, it might get more interest for other people to do the same thing. No? Huh? Oh, he's speechless.
No.
I think that definitely can happen. I don't know
Well,
if that's the
yeah, you
motive.
encourage
you watch it, and whenever I see it, I just think it's cringe. I think Mr. Beast just made a way to do it and make it less cringier than everybody else that's doing it right now, if that makes sense. Like, just being honest.
Well, he does
like,
do children's content.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be cringe.
Well, yeah, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I don't know, man. It's just something about it because whenever I just see things like that, and I'm just like,
I'm just gonna say this
you
one
know
thing.
who's authentic about it?
Hold on.
I'll say that does a good job with it.
Not
Steve will do it.
Not this is ever gonna happen, but I'm gonna call this out right now.
Steve will do it.
No, time out. If this is ever gonna happen, if we ever in a situation where Nick gets to meet Mr. Beast, this dude's gonna kiss his ass. Oh, hey,
Better not
Mr.
switch
Beast,
up.
I'm
Hell
such
no.
a fan.
That's why
I'm
you got
such a
me.
fan.
That's why you got me fucked
Can I be
up.
on the next Mr. Beast game?
That's why you know he's full of shit
Please,
right
can
now.
you sign my
I'm gonna just let y'all know that's why he's fucking lying and full of shit right now. I give a fuck less about that. If anything, that would be him, and he would be like, "Oh, is that Mr. Beast right there?" Fuck, no, I don't give a fuck. What?
All right. Wow. So
Why would you even like?
So-
where would that even come from though? Like, when have you ever seen me? Oh,
no, I'm just saying.
no,
like,
look at this celebrity, man. I gotta get a picture with him. Like, dude, come on, really? Like, what?
So next
could give a
video
fuck
in
less
front of
about that.
Mr.
What?
Beast's mansion is what we need to do. You can have Nick on board.
I would
there-
like to meet
well-
Mr. Beast in order to figure out his how genuine he is. That's it.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't give a fuck. I wouldn't care nothing else besides.
Well, there's
just-
also the people who, so like Mr. Beast has like the entertainment aspect from it, and it's a business and everything. But there's also those people who are content creators, and their entire content is just going out and giving the money, like having a GoFundMe and saying,
That's what I'm saying.
this type of guy, this guy's struggling. I met him, but they're still filming it. They're getting paid to do that, and so where do you draw the line that it's like, oh, you're just doing this for money, or you're actually doing this to genuinely try to help people? I struggle with that too. Cause it's like, am I doing this for
I mean, I'll be
one
honest.
reason
Look,
or the next?
I don't get into it that deep, but I do like some of the game stuff. I think it's kind of cool what they can do as far as what he's accomplished.
Oh, yeah.
As far as like kind of, I'm not talking about. I'm not riding it to where I'm like that aspect.
Oh, you like Mr.
No.
Beast, man? You watch his videos and you think he's so
No,
cool?
I do.
I bet you would love to meet him.
I'm not
taking
talking
it
shit.
personal.
I'm not talking shit.
I just don't understand why he said that. Like, oh, like Nick is gonna kiss his.
No, I'm just
Yeah,
saying. I
fuck
bet
less.
you, like, yeah, he's saying that, but if he was in front, I'd like to see what he says.
And Mr. Beast says, "Hey Nick, would you like $50 million? Yeah, I might kiss his ass." Yeah.
Well, he could. He's
If he
very
said-
wealthy.
Yeah, if he says something like that. But if we're just in
What
a
if
general
Mr. Beast
conversation-
said, "Hey, my platform's kind of struggling right now. I need Lone Wolf Marketing to
Totally different story.
Oh,
Totally different story.
why-
If you're giving me money, then yeah.
You know what he's gonna say? I'm probably not gonna get you because you talk shit.
All right, then don't
I
use
saw
me.
that podcast clip.
Don't use me then.
He's watching this episode.
You probably will. Oh, that'd be
No.
awesome.
Like that would be
No,
cool. But
that would
it's
be
just like
tight.
it's just like at the end of the day, like I could care less. Like Mr. Beast ain't affecting what comes into my pockets right now.
Oh, fair.
You know what I mean? So it's just like I don't know. I don't get the whole celebrity obsession thing, and that's why I kind of like was like, what you mean Nick is gonna switch up? Like, no, dude. Like, how many people have you seen that has millions of followers come into this building and come on this podcast and it's just another person? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just don't get the celebrity thing.
Now, if it was the
I actually
Nelk
made-
boys, then you'd freak out.
If Steve would do it, then I'd be like, all right. Only because I love Steve would do it. He's a genuine ass dude, and he gets stuff off camera all the time, and people talk about it, and not necessarily that's just him and who he is, and that's what happened. Like whenever he's walking around and filming content, that's what happens to happen. But that would be probably the only celebrity in this world that I would be like, oh, that was actually a cool guy to meet.
Have you gotten to meet a lot of other YouTubers in that space since starting?
Honestly, on YouTube, not really, not a whole lot. But like the stuff that I do with TikTok, I've been able to meet a good bit of people, especially like doing a lot more than me. And it kind of opens my eyes because it's like how y'all are saying with Mr. Beast, he kind of shows what's possible with YouTube. I'm meeting some of these teenagers, 22-year-olds, my age, doing $100K a month on TikTok Shop, selling products.
That's
Like,
disgusting.
That is so crazy.
That is disgusting.
You never even got to touch the products of like distributing.
I ain't gonna lie, like
Right.
I wanna dip my hands into that, check out what we can do. We need to get that thing moving that we've been talking about. Cause I mean that would be a big one for that. We got something in the works that we might be able to start doing on TikTok Shop.
Since we are talking about, people getting to Mr. Beast level and stuff like that, say this does keep growing at the rate that it's growing, right? And you build up this massive wealth and stuff that comes from that. I mean, maybe have a few more kids, that'll eat up some of it. But if it keeps going beyond that, what is the plan
He's getting a jet.
with that?
I'm just kidding.
probably 3 jets. Probably 3 jets.
Three
would be
jets.
the
Y'all
first
talking
thing.
about that? Why y'all in the studio? Why y'all searching up how many jets does Joe Osteen have?
Because that's the guy.
That's
I
the
couldn't
guy
remember.
we're
That's
talking
him.
about.
Joel Osteen. That's
Yeah.
the one.
I know, but why? Yeah, why?
No, because that's what we just
about
talked about a while ago. That he had 3 jets. He bought Tyler Perry's jet, $40 million.
So you getting 3 jets.
So so like honestly, whenever I started reading the Bible about these different topics and stuff, I've always been somebody that didn't really care about like the super flashy stuff. Like that's just me, my personality. Like super extravagant cars or anything, or like planes, jets, anything. Even if I accumulated that wealth, I don't think I would even like really care a whole lot about that stuff.
Yeah, you would, and you would want it because it would give you access to things that you couldn't do before. I'm just being real.
No,
did.
facts.
No,
said, "No, you
you
dead
want to go?
wrong."
He
Huh?
said you're wrong.
all right. You want to go? You want to go?
The wolf
You're
didn't
Catholic.
suck.
No,
Oh my
I get what you're
You want to
saying
go
though.
visit the Vatican, and you want to go talk with the Pope on something that you might be doing.
Think
and to
about
go
what
do it.
I get what
places you
you're
can go
saying.
sit and read the Bible on a jet.
Okay, I just mean that's not like my end goal. Like,
Right, no.
oh, I
I
need to
get-
have that. I'm gonna
yeah.
do whatever it takes to get there. That's
Correct.
not what I'm. That's
Right,
that's the
I got
difference.
you, I got
I think a lot of people want to look a certain way or like have those things,
Mhm.
but personally, it's like the freedom behind it. And I get that's what you're
That's
getting
what I was
at.
meaning. At,
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it's like I started looking at financial freedom and what does the Bible say about that kind of stuff? That's where it's like, I don't know, man. Like it goes back to that guy, that farmer who had a really good year, and then he basically, essentially, the whole story is like he retired early.
It just it gets me angry though, because like it's just like at the end of the day, what is financial freedom in this world today? Like everything's just getting so much more expensive just to live. Like shit, 5 years ago, if somebody was making $100,000 a year, you was living life good. Now people are struggling to make it. They live in check to check that who make it $100,000 a year. Like it's just so like
I think it really just depends though, because obviously certain areas gonna be more expensive than others. But I think this might be like a little whatever. But I've had to reflect in my own life, and my wife and I, and like my wife stays at home now. We have a 4-month-old, and so we've had to make some sacrifices. If I'm not rolling in the dough with what I'm making, but I'm able to cover the bills. We live good.
right.
Do I want to make more money? Yeah, absolutely. I want to give my kids a good life. I didn't necessarily grow up with a lot of money. I don't want my kids to ever have to worry. And I think those things are fine. But again, what I was talking about with giving, Jesus looks at your heart. And
Right.
it's like, that's what it matters. That's what it comes down to. And so like what you were saying, like if I were to accumulate all this wealth and stuff like that, like, yeah, I know I'm going to make a lot of money in my lifetime. Let's just say like I'm doing $1 million a year or something. I don't know. Maybe it'll just come to see like it's living life with that open hand and saying like, God, I'm living life for you. This is your money. I understand that you've given to me the ability to produce this wealth.
Yeah, not directly.
Nothing in
Yeah,
my own ability.
I
like
guess I'm
that.
trying to
like
get-
No,
that's how
well,
you-
I just
like
want
how
to say
you
like
that.
nothing in my own ability woke me up this morning. I could have very
Yeah,
well
yeah.
passed away in my sleep last night. So you give me the the breath in my lungs. So I'm gonna serve you with the money.
I guess
So
I'm
you-
asking,
Yeah,
like,
go ahead.
say a distant relative you never met passes away and you get $20 million. You don't got to
Mhm.
worry. Using your kind of knowledge on the Bible in this area, what do you think would be the thing to do with that would
Mhm.
most, I guess, fulfill God's vision from what you've
You just
look
ask him
into.
like a
Yeah, I was about to say.
hypothetical question of, hey, if somebody get like, let's say
Well,
my aunt
I'm s-
dies and I
I
just
mean, we
got
could have
20
started
million.
with like
what
a
I'm
lesser
trying to-
amount.
No,
$20
no,
million is
no.
kind of wild.
No, I
was
get the
just
premise
figuring
of the
out,
question. I mean, I
you know,
get it.
if his YouTube takes off, he starts making millions. If his things just work out in his favor and he does accumulate this money, because this topic he talks about, how Jesus and the Bible view money. I want to know what happens when you do get that money, where you're at the point where you don't have to worry. What do you think Jesus, or the Bible, Jesus, God, however you want to say it, would be the ethical, moral thing to do with that money?
So I think
Start
it
charities,
comes
like,
down
whatever.
to, because that kind of goes with like how you view work. So it's like if the only reason you work is because you're working for the money, then if you get a $20 million check, you're saying that you don't have to work anymore. I don't view work like that anymore. So I view work as what has God called me to do in this life to make an impact, to reach people, to God's blessed me with these certain talents and gifts, so I'm gonna glorify Him by being the best content creator, YouTuber, whatever that I can be. So it's like it's not all about the money anymore whenever I'm living my life for Him, because He's given me these abilities. And so now it's like purpose. It comes down to purpose. It's not like I'm going to get a $20 million check and then I'm going to just retire. Like it said in that parable, like you could die tomorrow. Who's going to get what you stored up for yourself? So I don't think that there's a right answer for that question of like, what would you do with that money?
I was about to say that's such an open-ended.
But like,
I mean, advice you give to other
obviously,
people,
like, yeah,
things they
give
could
some
look into.
away, be a good steward with it and like give some to your kids kind of thing. Like Proverbs 13:22 says, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. So it's like, whoa. So now we're talking about generational wealth. Since when is the Bible talking about generational wealth? So it's like the Bible is not against money, it's against the love of money.
See, that's kind of what I was kind of questioning. Is some people would say there's a limit where, if it's generational wealth, that's too much. Is there? I guess I was asking exactly that. Is there a a direction that it sends you on that, or a point where it's too much, or a point where you're not doing the right thing with it?
I think it
Yeah.
depends on the person, and this is why. If you get $10 million, are you taking your eyes off God and starting to put money as your God? You know what I mean? So like, I think that if you're living your life submitted to God's will, and you know, whatever that looks like for you. Like for me, it's if I feel like God's telling me to do something, I'm gonna do it, even if it's uncomfortable. Like going back to the giving situation, I tell this story. So I was at Chase Bank, and we didn't have a whole lot of money at the time. We were like in a rough spot, but I saw this old lady. She was like shuffling through her wallet trying to pay a bill or something like that, and I went in, did whatever I had to do, and I walked out. And I felt in the moment like, you know, cover her bill type of thing. And you know, to me, like that's God putting it on my heart to help this lady out. I walked out. I didn't want to do it because I was uncomfortable, you know, whatever. I walk out the Chase Bank door, and I feel like I can't move. I'm like, get stopped, and I'm like, no, like God's like saying like, no, you need to go back in there, and you need to do this for this lady. And then like I try to walk away and stuff, and I'm like, I almost start crying. It's just so overwhelming, of like, it just feels like God's telling me to do this. So she walks out, and I'm like, ma'am, look, I don't mean to be like, I don't want to force religion on you. I don't want to like be that kind of guy or whatever. Do you believe in God? Because I feel like he's telling me to give you some money right now. And then I gave her the money that I had, you know, just taken out of the bank. And she goes on to tell me that she was like really struggling. She was paying for her, you know, her granddaughter's college tuition, and she was really struggling and stuff like that. She believed in God, and she told a story about how she had given away some property in the past and stuff like that. It was like the most deserving, sweet, kind old lady. But yeah, it's like, I don't even know what the question was or where we came from that.
No,
but
hey,
like,
piggybacking off of that, I had a similar experience not that long ago. I'll tell you, same thing. I was at one Sunday we went eat at PF Chang's. We drove to New Orleans, went to PF Chang's. Had this waiter come to the table. I mean, look, he handled everything. He was on top of his game. Kind of just look. He never had to ask for a drink, anything. I mean, it was constantly being refilled, everything. So man, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, I like to, I'll tip the normal 20%, or 25%, whatever the high end of the thing is. I like to tip well because that's their living, that's how they make their living. So, man, but like I said, I had this feeling, man, something's telling me,
yeah,
that this guy needs this money. So I'm sitting there and the bill. So after I tell him, I say, hey man, I said, look, I just want to let you know. I said, I really appreciated the service today. I mean, it was great. Like we didn't have to ask for anything. You did a hell of a job. I said, look here. So the bill was like $140, and then I said, look, I put $200 on in the check thing. I said, look, I don't need any change. I don't need change, but I said, here's another $100. I said, I want you to take that. I said, you deserve it. Starts crying. Like, oh man, I wasn't expecting this, but
Yeah.
I felt like there was some reason I needed to do this.
yeah,
And I didn't even tell my wife I was doing this. Like, it just hit me all at the table, and I didn't even tell my wife, and she was like, "Wow, that's really nice. That was good." And then he starts saying, he's like, "Man, you don't understand though." He's like, "You don't know how much this means." Like, he's like, "I'm short on my rent today." Today. He's like, "I wasn't gonna be able to pay it till now."
So like to me, like that's where
That's kind of wild though. Like, look, I kind of got the chills a little bit, but like that hit me, and I was like, "Whoa."
So do you think that that's God putting something on your
Absolutely.
heart like that?
No, 100%.
Because I think some people argue like
look,
it's just
100%.
about being a good person
Well,
kind
no,
of
and
thing.
and look, yeah, that's me being a good person, but look, if any other scenario, I would have just tipped normal. But I felt it was a different. Look, it caught my wife off guard because she didn't even realize I was doing that. Like I just had it. I felt this feeling, and I was just like, "No, I need to do this for this guy."
And it could have been any other day.
And it could have been any
just
other day.
happened to
And
be that
listen,
day.
his rent was due today.
Mhm.
He's like, listen. He's like, you don't understand. Like, he was crying. Gave me a hug, everything. He's like, look, I was going to be late on rent today. He's like, but now I'm not. He's like, honestly, I was short. And he's like, now I'll be okay. He's like, I'll make it, just make it, and I'll have a little extra over. Like,
And so
that's
like
wild.
to the Christian, it's like when the Holy Spirit goes into your heart, you say, you pray the prayer, I believe Jesus Christ died on the cross for my sins, I'm forgiven, stuff like that. It's like, So the Holy Spirit comes into your heart. I think that it turns from like other people would say, oh, that's just your conscience. You just want to do something good kind of thing. And it's just a coincidence. I believe that that's God's intervening and using, going through you to touch this person's life. And so that's how we're able to be used.
What about like people on Facebook? Because like this is like what I don't like. I don't like whenever I see people on Facebook and stuff using God as like a crutch.
Mhm.
Like actually, like I know somebody like that's in my family. Actually, a few people in my family, and they're all holy roly. They, always posting on Facebook, this and that and everything, and then they always in a bad position. And then one of the reasons they always in a bad position is because they just sit at home and they don't do nothing. They don't go put themselves out there to do nothing. But then they always, like, every time you talk with them, like, God's gonna make it happen. God's gonna be our.
It's almost like an excuse for laziness.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And that's where I struggle with whenever a lot of people talk about, like, overly talk about God, and they come in here and they say something or whatever, and I'm just like, well, I was like, are you actually doing something to make it to be able to produce, or
Yeah, the
or
Bible says that if you don't work, you're not gonna eat.
so it's just like
It's common. It's almost like common sense. Like a lot of what the Bible says about money.
But where I guess where I was going with that is like hearing these stories of where y'all were actually running into people that were trying to make it better for themselves and all.
Mhm.
But in my scenario, what I'm talking about is like these people, they not even trying, they're not even going out and work, they're not even doing anything, and they're just expecting God's gonna give a handout, God's gonna make it all right, and it's just like that's what I do.
I definitely don't think that's the way to go about it either. Like the Bible is clear about, all throughout Proverbs talking about like hard work and just about, like I keep saying, like he who doesn't work is not going to eat. He who doesn't provide for his family has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. And it's like, it takes you back. Because it's like, if you're not even providing for your family, and it even says provide for your relatives as well. And I know that's like just a coincidence of like what you were saying. I'm not saying you should go and like fund all those people who aren't working. But like,
no, hell no, they're not. They wouldn't get a dollar. I'll throw them a job. Hell no. I throw them a job or something if they want to come cut the grass or if they want to wash my truck or something like that. But as far as me just giving them a handout, no, sir. Nobody gave me a handout. The only person who ever gave me a handout was my mom. If my mom asked me for some money, I give my mom some money any day of the week. If my mom asked me for any amount of money, I would give my mom it. Anybody else in the world? All right, what can you do for me? What can you work? What can you make happen? And then we'll talk about money. But other than that, you'll never see me give a handout unless it's to like a charity or something like that.
so this is kind of changing the topic, but kind of coming off of like things that are like, why do bad things happen, or kind of things like that? Like, why does God allow evil in the world? That's something personally I struggle with, that I am looking for the answers into the Bible and stuff like that too, because why did your little cousin have to be born that way or get that disease or stuff like that? That's something that I struggle with.
Yeah,
And
because
it's like,
like you said, it's unknown. You can't answer it.
yeah. Well, it's like the Bible says that God works out all things for the good of those who love him. And so it's like, there's almost a level of things we have to be okay with not being fully in control and knowing that God is in control, and having that distance between, well, I think this should have happened, and then having that anger towards God, and then, because ultimately he has the final say so. Or does he? Does God truly have the final say so, like in a fallen world where we have free will
That's what I was about to
and stuff like that?
That's what I was about to say. That's where I go back and I struggle with it, and it's just like where me and my buddies whenever we talk about it and all, and they'll say things like how you kind of saying earlier, and I get that aspect of it where I wasn't able to wake up today, or God made me able to wake up today. But then I have friends, and I tell them, I'm like, hey, bro, like, did you do this? Are you successful because you did it? It's not just necessarily because God did it for you, right? You had to get up and you had to go make these moves. You had to get up, and so don't give all the credit to God. Like, give yourself some credit too, right? So it's just like, that's where I come in.
Yeah.
At that point where it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
give yourself credit too, right? Because at the end of the day, you do have free will.
Mm-hmm. I'm right there with you. I mean, I understand, like, for sure. Like, I almost don't want to even say anything about it because I don't know what the Bible fully says about like that topic and stuff. That's something that I'm struggling with.
Well, you got something?
I was just saying that's real. Like
So-
that. Yeah,
No,
And
man,
that's kinda
it
how I
really
am.
is though. But like, you can't. I know it's hard. It's a weird. thing because you can't. I mean, at some point, just like you said, there is no real answer to it other than what you truly feel inside about it. I guess I don't know. It's kind of a anyway. Not to switch gears, but I do have a question going back to the whole YouTube thing.
All right.
I know we kind of went off on this crazy tangent on some other stuff. Anyway, back to the YouTube channel. Is there like a certain, I guess, bucket list, sort of say, of places you would like to take? You know, I know obviously you're getting into it. You said you're 24 videos in, so fairly new journey. But I guess is there some like, I mean, without giving it, I don't want you to give anything away, but I mean, is it like, you know, kind of elaborate on that? Is like, you have any ideas?
Like where I want to take the channel, or like?
Well, not so much take the channel, but I know you try to position yourself in different places. Do you kind of
Like location wise?
Yeah, location.
Besides Mr. Beast's mansion.
Mr. Beast's mansion, probably the first one. Honestly, so we just moved about 2 hours away, and I'm still learning the area, so that's actually something that I'm kind of struggling with. Like I haven't posted
to figure out places.
I haven't posted a YouTube video in 2 weeks, so it's like, you know, we're settling in and all that. I'm getting into a work routine to pay the bills, like I said, with like TikTok and stuff. But
if you don't mind me asking, what brought you out that way? Family or?
Yeah, family. My brother moved out there, and then my parents moved out there,
cool.
so and then we just finally came up once the baby wasn't like super fresh, you know. But to answer your question, not really. It's not so much about the places. I just go find an open field.
Just
it
random.
don't matter.
Okay, I didn't know if there was. I didn't know if that was tied to something like if you had like at that moment.
Well, imagine. I can only imagine it. And I'm sure it's probably gonna come up one day. But you just sitting in the field, and then like somebody don't know what you're doing, and you're like,
"Hey,
boy, get off that field, boy, shoot you."
Well, like you
like,
sitting in the cane field, then they're harvesting sugar.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
oh my God!
well, that's
Hurry up,
why I
close
really
the
went
Bible.
to
We gotta
North
go.
Shore.
There's like a big combine coming. Like,
That's why you had to get out of Houma and Thibodeau.
that's crazy.
that actually kind of made it hard to keep filming in the cane fields. All the tractors started coming out, so I had to.
Well,
And
no
then we
doubt.
happened to
At
be
least they
that's
don't
they're
burn them
fixing to
anymore.
when
They
they're
don't
harvesting
burn the
now.
fields.
Yeah. Now you're just sitting in a like a plain field, like, oh, this is crazy.
If anybody ever comes out with a shotgun or something saying I'm on their private property, I'm gonna post that video. I'll just keep it in.
Oh yeah, it'll go viral.
Oh, that's for
for
sure.
sure.
That's what that lawn guy does. The guy who does the lawns for free.
Oh,
SB
yeah,
Mo-
yeah, yeah,
SB
he
Mowing,
always-
I
Yeah, I
think
love
it
his
is.
content.
Dude, but he's been
Anytime
getting
somebody
some
comes after him.
flack for that. Like, dude, they've had police show up, kicking
Okay.
him out. Okay.
So that's a whole nother topic. Should he be doing that for free? Because he's probably using the money from the from the TikTok videos and stuff like that.
No, that's what he's doing. That's what he does. He does it for free and like helps out the neighborhood. And the only reason he does it for free is because he makes money off of the people that's viewing it.
But if
You
he wasn't
saying-
making
But
the
is
money,
he really
wouldn't be
just
able to
doing
do
it for free to make the money from the social media? Like that kind of goes back to what we were
Ah,
saying. earlier.
gotcha.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
But that's what you said about
no, it's true though.
having
I
the
mean,
ability to do it. Because if he wasn't getting the money from YouTube, he couldn't do it for free. He'd have to be like every other lawn
I
service.
mean, shit, dude.
So
I think
it
I'm going to
feeds
hell.
into each other. We've been knowing that.
I mean, damn. I mean,
look, this is
I wake up every day, and I really don't mean no harm on anyone. I live my life as best as I can to, give everybody. I guess I'm definitely not the most positive person, but like I definitely don't have no ill intentions coming towards nobody. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like waking up and saying how I'm gonna mess up this person's day, even though
Sure.
some people like to think that around here, aka Brant.
damn, boy,
But,
shots fired.
Brent catching strays.
Yeah, but no, I mean, so it's just like I don't know, man. It's just some of these things are just like I do like money.
I mean, and look, again, the Bible doesn't say you can't like money. The Bible says you can't put money above God. And so if we want to talk about, heaven and hell, it's kind of, that was one of the questions that I started asking myself, same big topics in life. I'm hitting all these deep topics, and it's like, what do I believe? And all that. Like, do I think I'm going to heaven? Do I think I'm going to hell? Why? And so to be completely honest with you, the Bible says that it's not based on if you're a good person. Like, it's not based on what you can do in this life. Like, that's the whole reason why Jesus had to come die, was because he took our place and he died the death that we deserved. So, like, that's the whole picture of Jesus coming to die. The entire picture of it
So you're
is,
basically saying that like through that you already have secure your place in heaven, but if you really just completely a piece of shit, you going to hell.
It's like
Yeah,
it's a
that's
dumb.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, golly,
So
yeah,
look,
I
this
mean,
is how it works. Whenever the Bible says faith without works is dead, and it says you can only get to heaven by faith alone. It's not about your works. So I know I kind of just went back and
I think
forth
that's
right
the
there.
Urban Dictionary version of that.
But basically, is whenever you recognize the fact that Jesus lived the perfect.
Written by Nick Sanchez. Like, what?
Dude is serious talking about the
This dude's talking about the
is like
Bible.
the-
He gonna say
This is like the
version.
deepest topic you could possibly talk about.
I know, right? Like,
All right. Sheesh.
Okay, so look, this is whenever God's requirement to make it to heaven. Okay, live a perfect life. No human can do that. We've all sinned, fall short of the glory of God. That's in the Bible, and we all know that we sin. I don't think there's anybody here that claims to be a perfect person. So it's like, so then a perfect person came in our place, Jesus Christ. So now, he died the death that we deserved on the cross. He was crucified, but he lived perfect. He didn't deserve it. So now, if we say, okay, I choose to live for you, whenever God looks at us, he doesn't see the imperfections of our life. It's not about, us never doing good enough. He sees Jesus in our place. And so now we can go to heaven. But that's what I was saying earlier, like salvation, making it to heaven isn't home plate, it's first base. Because everything Jesus talked about whenever he came on the earth was about the kingdom of God is coming to earth. And so it's like, what can God do through you once you are saved? Like, I know I'm going to heaven. I'm fully confident about that. It's not about what I can do. I know that it's through faith, by grace alone. It's not about the works. But the Bible also says faith without works is dead. So what does that mean? It means out of the fact that I'm saved, then I'm going to go and do good stuff because my heart changes. Like I was saying with the homeless person. My heart changes and it breaks for that homeless guy now. So of course I want to go help him. It breaks for the widows and the orphans and stuff like that. Like Jesus talks about all these different things. So it's not about, I need to do these things. I need to give enough money away. I need to do all this, X, Y, Z, check all the boxes, cut my check to the church so that I'm right with God. It's, I'm right with God. And so now I'm going to go and do all these good things because I want to do them.
but you see how you just exactly how you just explained that. I feel like that's what most people struggle with because most people that
100%.
most people
I
that I
agree.
see, like just being honest with you, like that I see that go to church and that I see practice faith and that always have something to say about God, they're usually the shittiest people, if we're being
And
completely honest.
that's what upset me the most about, because like you look at a Christian and it's like they almost like give a bad rep to Christianity, to Jesus, to God and
No,
stuff.
they really do.
Because some of the most judgmental people are the Christians.
No, they are the most judgmental people. And I'm just like, dude, at the end of the day, I can care less what you're doing, how you doing it, whatever, as long as you're not affecting my life. And I mean, you go into some of these people and I mean, dude, I don't even want to, because like people gonna know I'm talking about them if I start saying some of the examples I give. But it's
Yeah,
just
we're
like,
gonna leave that out.
yeah, it's just like, bro, at the end of the day, chill out. Like,
I did see one time a church had a catchy coffee shop. That was pretty neat. Hebrews coffee. Hey, that's catchy. I don't care who you are. That's catchy.
You can't say Hebrews nowadays. It's they them brews.
Yeah.
Let's not get into that.
Yeah, we're not gonna get into that either.
Anyways,
but
Yeah.
that like it's just crazy though, because like that that's why I really do feel gives Christians like a bad rep.
yeah,
is
and
that-
I agree. And that's kind of like almost like what makes me want to get out and like I'm still uncomfortable making these YouTube videos. I don't see myself as like the one that should be giving this advice or something. And that's why I make it known, like, guys, I don't have it all figured out. Don't look at me like this is what the Bible says kind of thing. But like I hate the fact that Christians get a bad rep. It's not about the Christians, it's about God getting a bad rep because of the Christians. And so like you should be able to sit in a room, if you're a Christian, you should be able to love anybody that comes into the room with you, whether you agree with them politically, whether you agree with them on, how to handle these topics, whether they're complete atheists, if they're trashing God, trashing the Bible, you should still be able to love them. That's what Jesus said to come do.
at
And
least
do on
have
this earth.
or at least have a conversation with them, or at least meddle with them. Like, you know what I
It's-
mean?
some
You don't
of the
have to agree
times-
with them.
You don't have to agree with them, but sometimes it's not even about convincing them. Sometimes the way that God will work through you is just they get a breath of fresh air around you, and it's like, oh wait, you're a Christian, and you didn't try to bend my arm behind my back to get to believe what you believe. dang,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And that might be the exact thing that leads them to God.
Yeah, I like it. I like that because I got a buddy who kind of says the same thing. Like we'll talk about like faith and all, but then like I know he don't like to talk about it a lot with me because I'm always like the antagonist.
Mm-hmm.
So like he'll
Wait, you disagree with him?
huh? With some of the things he says, like with the tithing, like
Never.
You don't seem like a confrontational person.
oh really? Yeah.
I wouldn't expect that.
But nah, so it's just I tell him I'm just like, nah, I don't agree with this or whatever, and like we'll talk about it. But like that's what I feel like is my form of religion, if that makes sense. Is like, or even having this conversation right here, and that's like how I feel. That's like my way of like talking and being closer with God is having these talks and stuff and making it in our lives and not necessarily going to a church and practicing it with 15 other people who's looking at you and that's doing shitty things and really they over there they at church because they trying to right their wrongs.
Get right with
yeah,
God
that's what I'm
kinda
saying.
thing.
Get right where
Yeah.
that's I hate to say it like this because I know in the Bible it says, you know, you're supposed to practice and you're supposed to give yourself to God, right? No matter what. But I look at it as like I'm really not trying to don't take this the wrong way, right? Like I don't look at it as like I don't have nothing. Not that you see, it's gonna
Well,
get
no, it's
taken.
hard because
It's
listen,
say what
I'ma
you're trying to
most
say.
people
I'm
when
not
they
gonna be
say,
offended.
No,
hey,
I'ma say it.
I don't want to offend you, but here comes
No,
the
no,
offensive
it's
shit.
not
I'm not gonna be
offensive.
offended, I
It's
promise.
not offensive. It's
No
not offensive
offense,
to you.
but here.
It's just it's putting myself in almost making it seem like I'm imperfect. Like what I'm gonna say is I don't have no reason to like I feel like I need to go to church this weekend because I'm not gonna get in heaven because I did something completely wrong. You know what I mean? That's what I'm kind of saying.
Like
You get what I'm
it's
saying? Like,
what's
No,
stopping
I
you
get
from
that.
going to church is because you've done stuff wrong. Are you saying
no,
that?
like how I know there's people that go to church that
He's talking about like situational basis.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Like,
like-
if something happened that day, like say,
or no, not even
or
I didn't
not
know.
even that?
I'm
No?
saying
That's what I was
so.
saying.
I'm saying like I know of people that go to church if they did something shitty, like
That's what I'm
cheated
talking
on
about.
their wife or
Mhm.
whatever the
Yeah,
case,
that's what I was
or
talking about.
abandon their kid, whatever the case.
So you got to go repent because you did that.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have anything that I ever did in my life that was like, man, I did that. That's messed up that I did that. I need to go to church and I need to figure this out, or you know what I mean. And I feel like
Okay.
that's the escape, or that's the way that people go, and that's what I see more at these Catholic churches, right? And it's just like, man.
So like my question to you would be like, where do you draw the line between what's not so bad, and then at what point do you have to? Oh, that's a big sin. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you maybe you didn't murder anybody, but look,
correct.
Jesus came and he said, even if you have hatred in your heart, it's equivalent to murdering somebody. He said, like, if you look at somebody else's wife with lustful thoughts, it's the same as sleeping with them.
Oh, he's going to hell then.
But you also shouldn't be.
But
you
again,
also
look.
shouldn't-
On a serious note,
Oh, yeah, you got those things. I'm going to hell. I mean, every single thing. Every single time,
man.
I was like, oh, there's my room secured in hell 302.
We have church
Oh,
on
I got
Thursday.
room.
We need to sign Nick up.
They just got me a penthouse in the hell base now. Oh, shit, man.
But you shouldn't be going
Oh,
to
man.
church as a get out of jail free card for something you
well,
did.
that's
The
what
point
I'm
of going to
saying.
church is because you feel you want to be there and be closer to God, and you do feel honestly guilty about what you did. If you're just like, oh, I did something bad, so I go to church this week, it's fine. You know, even I'm a
And
Catholic.
look-
Like we just go, oh, I go confess, it's okay. If you go into it like that,
I don't
it
think that's
doesn't
okay.
count. You
Yeah.
gotta
But look,
actually
that's
feel
actually
sorry
let's
for
give
what
the
you
full
did.
definition of repenting. So repenting is not just saying I'm sorry about doing something. So even if you had cheated on, your wife or whatever in the past, going to God and saying I'm sorry, that's not even the full picture. Repenting is saying you're sorry and then turning away from that. Then again, it's like this is where it's so back and forth about. Then again, it's not fully about your works of what you can do and what you can accomplish. It's not about just how much good can you do. It's like your heart has to change. How does your heart change? Putting your eyes on God and just realizing that God is like a father to you and you're just a son. He just wants to love you. He just wants to have a relationship with you. And that's I don't know how like Catholics view that and stuff like that, but that's where my perspective comes in with just reading the Bible is the weight gets lifted off of your shoulders about I got to do good things. I can't mess up because it's not about living a perfect life. Jesus lived the perfect life for us. We're forgiven through him. And so now it's like, okay, well, it's just like, I don't know. It takes the weight off your shoulders. You're just having fun with life. You want to go do those good things because it brings you joy and it helps people and stuff like
And
that.
that's how the Catholics view it too. It's like,
Yeah.
You shouldn't do things because you think it gets you brownie points. You do it
Mhm.
because you want to do it and you mean it, and that's why
Yeah.
the good things are good. If not, it's just
And so, like, for somebody that are like,
it's Mr. Beast.
if somebody were to be like, okay, or my question would be like, to somebody that doesn't believe, where do you get that from, like on the inside of you? If God didn't create you with these like feelings of what's right and wrong in the first place, where did that come from? And for me, that's whenever I turn back to the Bible. That's where I turn back to God. It's like, well, of course, it says right here, you know, like in the Bible for these different things. So I turn back to that. That's kind of where my faith is built off of.
I'm thinking on a deeper level right now, just thinking like, I guess, like, can it not also be like misinterpreted too? You know what I mean? It, like, for the things that you're looking back and you're looking into
Mhm.
in the Bible, and then
Yeah.
you think it's saying one thing, but you know what I mean?
Like me reading it and thinking it says one thing, but it really is meant to
Right.
be another.
Correct.
Yeah, that's something I struggle with too. Like, because how do you know for sure? And like another thing that I've struggled with in the past is like the Bible was written thousands of years ago. Who's to say that, you know,
That's
evil
what
men
I-
haven't like twisted it and stuff?
That's what I struggle with too a lot.
so-
Me and my friend getting a lot of arguments about it. I wasn't gonna say anything about it,
Yeah,
but like just the Bible being handed down through man, through
it's
so
like the
many,
telephone game.
about the literally
Yeah.
exact thing that you do
Oh
in school.
man.
Literally
Yeah.
the exact same thing you do in school. And with my base argument, and that's why I don't really believe in religion, right? I believe in God. I believe in a higher being.
You don't believe in the Bible, but you believe in God, is what you're saying?
Correct. If that makes sense.
That makes sense. I hear you.
So like, I won't sit there and read the Bible and say this is what it is because this is what they're saying. I think that, you know, these were the disciples were human. These were men,
Mhm.
right? Now, how many times can that story get misinterpreted? So you go and you look at the what is called in Hinduism and Jainism and all these other religions that they have around the world. They also have, you know, another story of a guy who gets on a boat and all the animals come to him and the world floods and they save. It's not called Noah in the Ark. It's called Jacob in the canoe. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is.
What?
No, I'm being serious. The same stories are in all these different.
Like
a
No, it's
Boudreaux
not
and a
even funny.
pirogue.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. You get what I mean? No, like
Yeah.
it's the same stories interpreted it, but it's in this religion, it's in that religion, it's in that religion. Obviously, something happened. They all came from the same place. Who am I to say? Because that's where where me and my buddy we get in a lot of arguments and like not arguments.
So
but
how many animals
like
can you put in a
just-
canoe?
No, just like this discussions or whatever. It's just like,
Are
hey,
that many?
bro, you believe in this or whatever, but if you were born in India and you
Mhm.
believe, and then you whatever religion you were born within in India, and that's what you were taught,
Yeah.
then who am I to sit here right here across from you and say, no, it's Jesus Christ. That's his name. That's who died for us. Well, this dude might be saying, no, it's Shara. And whatever his name is in their language
Yeah.
or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's just like, how can you confidently say that and then tell somebody else that they're wrong?
Yeah.
And then what if at the end of the day, whenever you die, you was the one that was ended up being wrong?
So I think that it kind of comes down to like, because I've asked myself these exact same questions. And again, that's why I'm not like trying to shove this down everybody's throats. And it's like every single video, guys, I don't know everything. Read the Bible for yourself, do your own research kind of thing. And I think that I'll be able to answer those questions as I further my faith and like do the research. But then something that I thought of is like, it comes down to how do you prove anything that happened in history? Like, how do you prove George Washington was actually a man? How do you prove, you know, like that, like even just that question.
Yeah.
So it's like, obviously it's different. It wasn't that long ago, but like Alexander the Great, how do you prove that he ever existed? How do you know he wasn't just made up somewhere along the way? Same thing with Jesus, like kind of thing. I struggle with those questions too, but it's like, I don't know. That's like one of the biggest ones. And it comes down to, you know, like Jesus having 500 eyewitnesses after he resurrected from the dead. And honestly, again, we're getting into the area where like I'm not fully confident on and stuff like that. But the argument that Jesus Christ never existed, like I think even atheists agree that Jesus Christ is a man who lived on the earth. The main difference is, was
proof.
Jesus God?
Yeah, well,
That's the main difference.
They have proof of like of the stories, and
Existence.
things. Yeah, the existence
Yeah.
of, and and I'm pretty sure they have them in like museums and stuff, or at the Vatican or whatever it may be. But I guess it's just like, I don't know. My buddy says is what my buddy says is based on what your knowledge is and what you're taught. And what I'm saying is at the end of the day, dude, the Bible, how many different versions have they had of the Bible that you read, the King James Version?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? It's probably 13, 14, 15 times in the past 200 years that this thing got remade. And so how many words or phrases or quotes got adjusted to fit whoever's narrative at the time that might need it to fit? Because whenever I look at religion and thing, I look at it as a power of control, a device to control people.
I guess at the end of the day, you can just compare all religions and look at that the general message across pretty much every religion that exists is just try to be a good dude.
Oh yeah.
Besides, Christianity, because
that?
Jesus said, like it's not about you trying to measure up and anything good that you can do. It's only by Jesus that you're even able to go to heaven in the first place.
Right.
So it's like, that's why I didn't mention that, was because I'm not 100% on all the other religions. So it's like I don't want to talk about an area that I don't know about. But a lot of the other religions are like, what can you do to measure up to be, XYZ, to go to the good place like heaven? Jesus said, look, you've all sinned. Jesus came in, was the perfect person. So it's like that is more feasible to me than I'm going to try to become the best version of myself to hope that some God is going to let me in the gates one day.
Or I have to complete this and that in order to make it.
Because we're imperfect. I mean, we're going to mess up in the future no matter what. Like,
man, you talk some deep stuff.
There's and it's still questions that I'm asking too, and that's kind of what's pretty unique about my channel. Is I'm not saying I got all the answers, I have it all figured out. This is the truth 100%. Like,
no, but
live your
life
like
it gets
like
you
this.
thinking. It gets you thinking.
I ask these questions. People are commenting. Like I said, I have that Discord community, so it's like it's an invitation to allow people, and that's kind of what tied it back to like the authenticity.
That's really cool.
I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I like that, because at the end of the day, you're just more like asking questions and trying to figure out answers.
Yeah.
More
We all want to know what the
Well, you're almost
answers
like,
are.
hey, come on this journey with me and let's figure it out together.
Exactly.
That's awesome. I like
Exactly.
Well, if you want to throw out any of your YouTube names and any of your TikTok shop names, let the viewers know where they can find you at on social medias.
So just my first and last name, Brayden Hebert, on YouTube.
Spell it for him, because people spell Brayden different.
Yeah, so Brayden Hebert, BraydenHebert on YouTube, and then on Instagram, if you want to like send me a message or anything like that, same thing, just my first and last name.
It is Hebert. It's not Hebert.
I was about to say, or it's not a bear. a bear.
Not Hebert or Herbert.
If you're
I
not
don't know how
Herbert,
you get
That's the
Herbert.
most.
They're
That's the
gonna
most
be
common
like,
one.
Are
Oh,
y'all,
Herbert.
like
Hey,
long
why
distance
do you,
cousins?
No. Where you
messing
from?
with
You
y'all.
from Omaha?
Not that I know
Nah,
of. Thibodeau?
Are you from Thibodeau? No.
Yeah, y'all might be.
It might be.
Somewhere down
I mean,
the line.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
maybe.
that's so far apart.
Yeah, I
Oh, man, I didn't mean like that. I mean,
Are you?
yeah, 20 minutes down the road.
No way they're
So
related, man.
No, we draw the line in
No.
gray.
No,
no, I mean,
the horse and buggy didn't cross over the tracks at the time. They
yeah,
couldn't
we
cross
Once you
the
go over
bayou.
that
We don't go
Streeter
to
Bridge,
Streeter.
it's gone.
We couldn't make it that far down the bayou them days.
our horses got tired.
Might as
The
well be
canoes
north of
only go
10.
so far. They only float so long.
Oh, man.
Oh, dude, it was
Man, we
good having you,
appreciate it.
though.
It was great.
Nice meeting you,
Yeah,
man.
Thanks
come
for having
on,
me
man.
on.
Yeah, like even though we laugh and stuff, but it was definitely crazy deep topics we got covered. So
Yeah, that's my goal with the whole channel.
Awesome. Well, thank you, bro.
appreciate you coming.
All right,
on.
guys.